Are you too busy to pick out the perfect outfit every day? I get it. It's tough to juggle work, life, and still find the time to focus on fashion. That's where Armoire comes in. With a clothing rental membership, you can effortlessly turn heads with stylish, everyday looks tailored just for you. With all of our book events and photo ops recently, I've rented all my outfits from Armoire. It's been so fun and so great to not have to buy a whole new wardrobe, but also be on trend and even experiment with some different styles. All I did was take a quick 5-minute style quiz, build a personalized closet, and wait for high-quality, unique pieces delivered to my door in as little as 2 days. Oh, and did I mention that Armoire is women-founded and women-led? Right now, our listeners can give Armoire a try and get up to 50% off their first month. That's up to $125 off. Just visit armoire.style/dateable. That's Armoire, spelled ARMOIRE.style/DATEABLE to get up to 50% off your first month and never worry about what to wear again. Try Armoire today.
April is Earth Month. If there is one thing I've learned, it's that quality is sustainability. Think about it. When you invest in well-made, durable products, you're not just buying something that lasts longer. You're keeping waste out of landfills and reducing the need for constant replacements. That's exactly why I love Avocado Green Mattress. Avocado mattresses are crafted with the highest quality certified organic materials and expert craftsmanship. They're also climate neutral certified, meaning every purchase helps reduce carbon emissions and supports a healthier planet. Avocado mattresses offer easy financing options with Affirm, sleep trials up to 1 year, and generous warranties for your peace of mind. The best part is that you can try before you buy. You can visit one of their retail stores or premier retail partners to experience the comfort firsthand. Head to avocadomattress.com today and save up to 10% on certified organic mattresses. Dream of better for you and the planet.
Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Kraftchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Brunch Talk. We're going to answer some of your burning dating questions.
Yes, we have some good ones in store. We want to talk about situationships, asking people on dates, all the hot topics.
So many. Situationships to dates. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it all. Let's do it all. I'm just wrapping my head around everything that's happening right now, the shift we're seeing in our dating culture and how different it is from the way I grew up with dating. And I think in the article you shared with me, Julie, this Wall Street Journal article, fed up with situationships, Gen Z is ready to commit. This is the number that really got to me. Something like 56% of Gen Z had reported that they've had a relationship in high school, compared to our generation and older generations have all been in like the 60 to 70%. That's crazy.
I mean, it makes sense. I feel like it correlates with what we're seeing with older generations too, dating. There's just like less and less relationships happening in a lot of these ambiguous situations, i.e. the endearing situationship that I feel like, I don't know. I also feel like this was around before it was coined, the situationship. There's always a level of ambiguity that can exist when two people don't fully commit, but it's definitely become like all the norm lately.
To be more specific, it's the 56% of Gen Z adults have had a boyfriend or girlfriend during their teen years, compared to 69% of us, millennials, 76% of Gen X, and 78% of baby boomers.
So it's a steady decline.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, for baby boomers, they were probably getting married by 18 to 20. So it makes sense. In their teen years, they're dating, settling down.
It is kind of wild to think, I remember I was watching this video with, it was my bat mitzvah video actually. And I was watching it with my fiance and my parents. And we realized that my parents were our age at my bat mitzvah. So they had like a 12-year-old girl. And we were just like, whoa. That is a different life stage than we're in.
Can we watch your bat mitzvah video at your bachelorette? Can this be my request? My one request?
I feel like my mom would give it to you.
How do I get my hands on this? Did you perform? Was there a performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's in there. Like I guess, how do you define performance?
Like, did you sing and dance?
It's not really like that. Like, you have to like go
Oh.
up and sing your like half Torah portion. So like you have
Okay.
to do, that's like the whole thing. And then the party is like the celebration that you did this, I don't know, I guess act that makes you a woman now.
Did you feel like a woman at 12?
I did. I actually just looked like a deer caught in headlights the entire time. Like the fact that videographer was just like on me and I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want to be here. But it was crazy looking at like
Wow.
my parents were the same age as us. And I'm just like, wow, different life stage.
I remember used to dance at bar mitzvah parties, specifically
Yeah.
bar mitzvah, and the parents would get drunk, like they would get wasted in the bathroom. And I remember just seeing that side of it, and the kids are like having such a great time. Like, God, this is great. This is a fun
Wait,
time.
like you danced in it like when
Like,
you were
they
like in your
hired-
20s. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
they hired us to be
Oh my
performers.
God.
Rob, my friend Rob, who you know, he's the one that got me into bar mitzvahs.
Oh my God, I can so see him doing this.
And we would have these really corny dances, and like they were
Oh, of
so
course.
cheesy, but it was so much fun because we show up and the kids are like, the dancers are here.
The best part too is that we were watching it and it was always called this New York style DJ. This is like what you got.
Mm.
And we looked up the company and they were based out of, you guessed it, New Jersey.
Close enough.
Anyways, this is a tangent from where we were, but it does show
What were we just
Direct-
talking about? Oh, yes.
just
age,
the
yes.
differences in where we were at different stages in different generations.
But what is shifting, so yes, they're very different from baby boomers in that way, Gen Z and baby boomers. But I feel like Gen Z and baby boomers are more alike than not because there's less situationships, there's more monogamy, there's more like serious committed relationships going on.
Well, there's definitely the rise of intentional dating. I think that's been a huge shift in the last couple years, that term has become very mainstream. And I think we're even suggesting it goes further than that to like conscious dating, of really leaning into personal growth as a way to like correspond with your dating life. But with intentional dating versus like hookup culture, casual dating, I was even thinking about like when we first started the podcast 10 years ago, like Netflix and chill. Remember everyone used to say that? Like, oh, let's just come over and Netflix and chill. Like everything was
Sounds
so
so old.
ambiguous. Yeah, you never hear people say any of that anymore. I feel like that stuff has kind of died out. And it's interesting in this article how like this, I mean, I think a lot of people are like this. They're just like, I don't want to do this half in, half out relationship anymore. Like, I don't want to do situationships.
There was a great quote in the article that said situationships feel like a constant rejection.
Yeah.
Or like, right?
I
Both
see
parties
that.
are constantly saying no to a relationship. And this other quote was basically implying you're just one step away from a real relationship, but you're just not willing to take it. That's like, wow, mind-blowing to me because you're so close, yet both of you are intentionally not taking that next step. It can't feel good. And I think we've talked about situationships a lot on this show, and there are times when situationships do make sense when you're still exploring, you're trying to understand what you like, that discovery phase. But at some point when you're ready for a relationship, but you settle for a situationship, that's when it becomes a negative experience.
I could not agree more. I think situationships might be one of the hardest parts about dating, like even harder than not getting dates in a way, because it's like there, but not there. And it's like almost like this feeling of like, I've attracted this person, but they don't want me fully. And there is like this intense rejection on that. I feel like I was the queen of situationships before situationships was a term. So it's been lingering for a while, but I think I like wanted a relationship, but didn't really fully know like what that entailed and meant. And I was just kind of happy to have like something. But looking back, that was the exact reason I wasn't in a real relationship, is because I was staying in these situations.
Do you think for people who prefer to be in situationships, do you think that's the same thing as being commitment phobic?
Yes. I think there's a level of like have someone at arm's length that you're not fully in with them. Or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's commitment phobic is I don't know, weird word because it makes it feel like there's like something diagnosed with you. I think different stages you may want more or less commitment than other times. But I do think there's a huge correlation with situationships because kind of like best of both worlds that you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to really commit.
I had a conversation with a friend who finds herself in situationships a lot, and she's the one instigating it. So
Mm,
she was wondering if possibly she's commitment phobic. And my theory is that she's not ready to be fully seen
yes.
because it's
Yes.
very vulnerable. And a fully committed relationship means you're accountable for this other person and that all parts of you will be revealed. But even in this article, they were saying in a situationship, the chemistry comes from the assumptions, from the guesswork.
Right. I think the word commitment phobic, I want to like take a second on that because
Yeah.
it's an
Okay.
interesting word because I think we think that it means like, oh, I want to play the field. I want to like see who else is out there. But I do think you can be commitment phobic because you're not really ready to put yourself out there. Like you were
Yeah.
saying your friend is.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe it's not about, we used to like kind of make this word a little sexy. Like
Yeah.
we used to talk about men this way, right? Oh, that guy is commitment phobic because he can't decide who he wants to settle down with. But you're right. I think there is another level of being commitment phobic. I think it goes hand in hand. It's both not willing to settle, but also not willing to be vulnerable or willing to be seen in that way.
I'm just going to say something and maybe someone will come for me, but I feel like all the
Come,
guys I
come.
know, all the guys I know that were commitment phobic are still super single, well into their 40s and kind of sad. Like I think there's something
Yeah.
underlying that's like missing for them that they can't connect on that like deeper level or really put themselves out there.
And deeply unhappy.
Yes. It
Deeply.
like went from this like cool thing to like sad.
Yes. Don't we all want, this is not a PSA for relationships, but I really think why we gravitate towards relationships is that it's the only time where you get someone devoted to you, you're devoted to them, where you can work on building something together. And that involves personal growth and involves building this life together. Where else do you get this opportunity? You don't get to do this with friends. Like you don't get this person who is like devoted to you. And I think for anybody who used to be the guy that was like, I'm commitment phobic, I have so many choices, I want to explore everybody, they're just not willing to create a life with someone. Like that's a really empty feeling to be in that state.
Also, relationships are a mirror. So I think it reflects a lot back to you that maybe sometimes is easier to suppress and not bring up. So I think I agree with you on what you said, but I also think there's a side of like going back to, I guess, your friend of not wanting to be fully seen because you kind of are being vulnerable to put yourself out there by entering into a relationship. Like I remember like when my partner and I, my fiance is the most serious relationship. Clearly, he's my fiance that I've ever had.
Oh, wait, there's no side piece, no side fiance we don't know about.
Even before, though, like I feel like when we were not even living together, but we were spending all this time together, like he would notice things that I was doing that I never noticed before.
Yeah.
No one ever pointed out to me. And at first, I was just like, why is he like bringing this stuff up? No one else has told me about it. And then I realized like no one else has been around me this much to even notice. Other partners just didn't have that depth. They weren't integrated in my life as much. And it was a decision to be like, okay, if I'm going to be in something where I'm doing life with someone, they're going to notice things about me and want to help me. And maybe it could be perceived as a criticism, but sometimes it's just like actually genuinely wanting the best for you and pointing something out to you.
Oh, I was just thinking about this exact same thing this weekend because the huge difference between like casually dating and a committed relationship is that in casual dating, you are just trying to play up the good parts of each other because you don't have to be accountable for the other person. You just want to be like fun and free and performative and whatever it is. It's like, I don't need to know that you don't put the dishes the right way because we're not there and I don't care because we're just going on dates. I don't see that side. But when you deeply commit to someone, these daily things matter. And some people don't want someone else in their daily space like this. Like, I get it now. Like, some
Yeah.
people are like, I don't want someone else to notice who I really am, even to have a platform to comment on how I'm living my life.
And just to reiterate, I think it needs to come from like, is this because you genuinely don't want it or you're afraid and there's
Yeah.
fear seeking in? But I do remember like when I had a situationship that I've talked about a lot, the 2.5 year on again, off again one, I remember just being like, why doesn't he want it to be a real relationship? Like we're already like, we have this chemistry, we hang out, all the stuff. And my friend was like, with my partner, I have to account for like when he wants dinner and like little things. Like
Yep.
I have to think about them. And she's like, some people don't want to think about when you want dinner.
Exactly.
And that like hit me. I was like,
Yes.
it's right. And if you don't want to, again, where is it coming from? Is it coming from like, that is my truth versus like, it's a fear? Because I think you don't want to like hold yourself back from something amazing because you have fear in the way. But if you truly are someone that's like, I don't know, I guess maybe it brings up a larger question. Like, is that person just selfish at that point? Or is it like truly like in honoring a need of theirs to like not have someone to account for ever?
Maybe it's a little bit of both. I think some people don't have capacity to account for someone else.
Yeah.
And that's their truth, right? And some people feel like they want a one-way street. They want someone to be accountable for them, but they surely don't want to take accountability for someone else. There are so many nuanced ways to look at this. And I think that's exactly it. You have to ask yourself, what is stopping me from committing? And is it my personal fears? Is it my capacity? Or is it just my truth that I don't want one?
Yeah. I'm curious from our listeners, like if they've been in this boat themselves or if they have dealt with someone that, was maybe a situationship or something that wasn't all in and they've had these conversations of like capacity and the way it is.
And we do have a viewer question related to this.
Let's do it. But before, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. When was the last time you checked the ingredients in your dishwasher pods? Spoiler alert, they're full of chemicals and microplastics that can stay on your dishes even after they're washed. And studies show that this residue ends up inside of you, causing inflammation and gut damage. Blueland is on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials to be better for you and the planet with the same powerful clean you're used to. They offer refillable cleaning products with a beautiful cohesive design that looks great on your counter. From cleaning sprays to hand soap, toilet bowl cleaners, and laundry tablets, Blueland has you covered. And Blueland is trusted in over 1 million homes, including mine. I use their dishwasher tablets for every load, and my dishes always come out sparkling clean. I love how compact the packaging is and how affordable they are. Refill tablets start at just $2.25, and you can get even more savings when you buy in bulk or through a subscription. Celebrate Earth Month and make the switch today. Get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/dateable. You won't want to miss this. blueland.com/dateable for 15% off. That's blueland.com/dateable to get 15% off.
For so long, I viewed bras and shapewear as torture devices. Like, who invented them? But I've since changed my mind because I tried Skims. The Fits Everybody collection from Skims is like nothing I've ever tried before. Everything just molds to my body. Almost feels like I'm not wearing anything at all. Now, I've heard all about Skims for so long, and let me tell you, they sure live up to the hype. I've really enjoyed wearing the cheeky bikini underwear. It's like my go-to underwear because honestly, I just can't do thongs anymore. But this is the perfect combination of a no-show and comfy. And I also found the perfect color to match my skin. So the undies don't show through white pants. Yeah, finally. Shop Skims Ultimate Bra Collection and more at skims.com and Skims LA flagship on Sunset Boulevard. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select our show, Dateable, in the drop-down menu that follows. Vacation season is nearly upon us, and this year I'm treating myself to the luxe upgrades I deserve with Quince's high-quality travel essentials at fair prices, like lightweight European linen styles from $30, with premium luggage options and stylish tote bags to carry it all. And what's music to my ears is that all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on onto us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. I love that. Now, for me, I've upgraded my travel outfit with the Quince Ultra Stretch Straight Leg Ponte Pants. They look like put together slacks, but feel like lounge pants. So perfect for long flights. For your next trip, treat yourself to the luxe upgrades you deserve from Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for 365-day returns, plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DATEABLE. Do you think that total devotion has to go both ways initially? Because I have heard from friends that saying that they believe, let's say one person just needs to love the other person more initially, and the other person will basically get on board. And in this example she's giving is like, maybe the guy must love the girl more at first, and then it'll be reciprocated.
Oh my God. I think of that Sex of the City episode that like the advice is like, find a guy that will love you more than you love him.
Yes.
Ugh. Cringe.
It is cringe. Yes. And my parents used to say that to me. Just find someone who loves you more. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know how to measure love. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm like, you're about a pound more of love than I am right now. I think this question is rooted in people wanting to play those power dynamics and trying not to get hurt. So therefore, they want to feel like, oh, I have less stake in the game.
Yeah.
And if the other person rejects me, leaves me, I won't be as hurt. But we've spoken to so many experts on this topic, and everybody believes that you got to give 110%. Like you got to lean more. And the inspiration of a relationship is to inspire each other to give more to each other without the expectation of anything to be reciprocated back.
So is the question like, can it grow over time, or is it more like, is that preferred?
Does it have to be that both people are all in the beginning?
So you could interpret that both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about that approach actually. Like, does it have to be?
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes people can catch up and people aren't always on the exact same pace. I think that is something we need to normalize a bit more, given where they are coming from in life. And like, even what we were talking about earlier of some people have never been in a relationship. So it feels foreign to account for someone to make dinner for, or they have a lot of stuff they haven't worked through and like don't necessarily have the capacity. So I think this is a hard lesson I had to learn, is that like your emotions might not be met 100%, but I also think when someone is like in a totally different book than you versus like on a slightly different page, and like eventually we'll get to your page.
Yeah, I can see that. There's definitely so much truth in that. And I would just add that I don't think people know right away if they want to be devoted to the other person completely.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's hard to gauge. But I do think we need to be committed to the experience of the relationship. And so this is why, with my current relationship, we did the 30-day trial, because we were committing to the experience of making this relationship work, see where it goes, but not necessarily to each other. It was like, let's just give it everything we've got to see where this relationship can go.
I mean, I'll add, it's a lot easier to work with someone on a relationship if they want a relationship at all. And like, I think if you're trying to convince someone of something they don't want whatsoever, it's going to be an upward battle. And that's the situation to stay away from.
And I keep hearing the word resentment. Resentment will build. If you are under this, if both of you are clear about the other person giving more love or whatever it is, it's just going to build resentment in both directions. It's just a recipe for disaster.
I feel like I'd want to know more about like the conversations that are being had when it says like one person isn't on the same page 100%. Like, is it that they are trying to get there? They ultimately desire that? Or are they actually speaking their truth that they don't want it? Because like when I look back at situations or situationships I was in, it was actually abundantly clear from the beginning that they really were not on the same like wavelength at all for me. But I chose to ignore that, and I chose to be like, oh, well, love will conquer all. Once they see how amazing I am, they'll totally change their mind. And spoiler alert, that never worked.
No. We've just been given such terrible advice throughout the years. So I'm glad that we're putting them on the table for us to squash them.
Yeah.
Squash.
It's a good question, though, because I think we get that a lot of like, when do you keep pursuing someone? Are they playing hard to get? Are they just not interested? And I think there's a lot of murky territory. There's a lot of differing advice out there. But I do think it just gets easier if people are just like upfront and transparent and clear about what they're looking for. And if you two are aligned.
I do see a lot of frustration in a question like this where maybe someone's like, I've been the one putting in all the effort, wanting
Yeah.
to commit, and the other person not being on the same page. So why don't I just sit back and wait someone to pursue me and show me their love and to show me all this effort before I commit to them? Wouldn't that be easier?
There's also like what convos have been had too, because I think I'm just thinking back to my days in situationships. I was making a lot of assumptions about where they were at. I was talking to my friends a lot. I was getting advice on the internet. But you know who I wasn't talking to? That
the other person.
Yeah.
Yep. Isn't that always the case? I've also been in that situation, like throwing in the towel. I'll just go for the next guy that tells me he likes me and just sit back. Like, it'll be easier this way, right? I can make less effort this way and I won't get hurt this way. But that resentment still builds up. And then when we are like talking about power dynamics in this way, it becomes a lot of game playing. It becomes this mental Jenga that nobody wants to be a part of. It's just such a headache.
So what are our takeaways on all this? Because I'm kind of aligned with this opting out of situationships.
I like it. I like that the younger generation has seen how fucked up the older generations have done it with situationships. And they said, no, thank you. So I appreciate that.
Although it does give learning. I think any relational experience is valuable. That's my only fear of, we hear that like the younger generation, the question is like, how do I ask someone out? And, like, what do I even do? My fear is that like inaction will be taken, like nothing will happen. Like, I do think you have to kind of put your heart on the line a couple times to learn. That being said, staying in like 2.5-year situationships, not ideal, not great for your self-esteem and overall vision.
And why do people stay in these long-term situationships? It's because they don't ask for the answers, because we're so afraid to hear what the answers may be. And I definitely have a friend going through this right now. She's in this year-long situationship and she's keeps saying like, I don't need to know. I don't need to know if he wants anything more. But I'm like, but you do, because you keep talking about it and you keep wondering about it and just gonna keep dragging. And I wish she would just get the answers now, because if he says, I'm not interested in anything more, she can move on to someone who is. And if he says he is interested, then they can start building that life together.
And I'm not saying this about your friend, because I don't even know who your friend is, but like I was able to look at my past and realize that it was because I deep down didn't believe I deserved a relationship or was worthy.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that about your friend, but like, I think there's a fear of like hearing what you don't want to confirm that belief, but also like going a little deeper of like, where is this stuff really coming from and what does it say, and working through that and trying to like heal that with a therapist or whoever. I think that is like step one, even outside of this other person.
And what's very telling of a worthiness wound like this is, because she keeps repeating this, I'll just hang out with him until the right guy comes along. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of like, I'm just going to keep someone around. I don't want to give this up, but I also don't want to know answers. And maybe what I deserve will come.
Well, we talk about this a lot in our book, in the settling paradox chapter, about like, it's better to have somebody than nobody, but like that actually isn't true at all. And that's one of the things that might be holding you back. I know if I got rid of people that weren't all in earlier, I probably would have met someone a lot earlier.
Yes. I mean, I think we just need to really redirect what rejection is, because ultimately situationships are just protecting us from rejection. Rejection, we've said it before, it's redirection. But what if you looked at it this way? Because they do this in sales training. Let's say it takes you 20 calls to get to that one yes. The one yes is like giving you everything you want, but it give you 20 calls to get there. Each call is worth something.
Yeah.
But you have to go through all 20 to get to the yes, right? So like when you welcome all those rejections, because now that's just getting you closer to the yes. So the rejection is not bad. It's not a deficit. It's actually adding to your purpose.
I love that. I also think situationships are not rejection proofing us. They're just prolonging the rejection. Like
Yep.
they are a form of rejection. It's like, it's like a cut of rejection every day when someone is not willing to take that next step with you. I would rather ask them and rip the bandaid off and get the bad news and move on. Like when I finally asked my situationship of 2.5 years, like if he'd meet up with me to discuss things,
Yeah.
and he said no, I'm like, well, I have my answer.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You won't even meet up. But yes, I think hearing that was really devastating in the time, but it was what I needed to move on, or he would have kept me on the hook.
Because why wouldn't he?
Right? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that we were able to deep dive on this. If you want to get over that situationship and move forward, there's a very good way to do that. Yes. How to Be Dateable, the book.
Yeah, you can get the book, howtobedateable.com. You can find all the links. You can find it at anywhere books are sold.
It will situationship proof you. Is that a word?
That would be our next book, Situationship Proof.
Okay. Well, can't wait to talk to you all next week.
Bye.